Hello, and welcome to the 194th edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Bruckert, and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Bruckert. We're having another great local beer. Today, from Three Odd Guys Brewing, we're going to be having the Fence Check Brown Ale. Okay? Now, the reason it says silver can has just got handwriting on it is because it's a local brewery here up in Apopka. One, believe it or not, that I have not been to. I thought that I had been to just about every one, but I usually, when a new brewery opens, I like to wait just a little bit of time until they've got a good selection of their own beers, because typically when a brewery first opens, they'll be serving a couple of their own beers and then multiples of other people's beers. I like to get there when they've got their own beers going. So I've delayed getting over there, and then things happen, time gets out of hand, and I haven't been there, and I feel bad. But luckily for me, we did have a good friend of ours, Vince, who went there and brought us one of their beers, and I am going to get over there very soon to try it. So this is an American brown ale, okay? So you might ask, what's the difference between a like American brown ale or like an English brown ale or other types of brown ales? What I find when reviewing beers is most American beers are a lot more hoppy than your traditional English styles, which are going to be more malty. Okay. Now this one I'm not really sure about because, like I said, I haven't had it. But I do like the fact that it starts off at 6% alcohol by volume, which is nice. The beer also scores a 3.84 out of 5 on Untapped. Now you might say 3.84, that doesn't sound great, but you got to understand Untapped's ratings. Untapped's ratings are crazy because you get all kinds of people that may or may not like that type of beer, so they rate it on their personal taste, whether it's one that they like or not. So a 3.84 on a beer like this, like a brown ale, is probably pretty good. It's going to mean that it's a very drinkable beer, because if it was a traditional super hoppy brown ale, you're going to get a lot of people the people who don't like hops that aren't interested in it. Okay, so I have a feeling this is going to be a very drinkable beer and probably not hoppy. As a matter of fact, the IBUs, it comes in at 40 IBUs. So that means it's got some hops, but it probably isn't going to come across with a strong hop finish. That's just my guess. Now, I do like, right off the bat, beautiful head, good retention. I've been watching it as I keep pouring it. That head stays nice and solid on there, which is a sign of a good beer. So I'm quite excited about the beer already, and I haven't even taken a sip. Color, perfect, nice brown for a good brown ale. The right spot on, a little reddish even. So now the key is going to be the smell. So in the smell, I get like the malty sweetness that you get in a brown ale, the like chocolatey, caramely kind of smell in there without a predominant smell of hops. I could be surprised on the taste and get more hops than I expect, but I can tell you just from drinking beer and experience, if it's getting that high of a rating on Untapped, either or just it happens to be a lot of people know what they're talking about with brown ales, or it's not going to be a super hoppy one, because if it's super hoppy, you're going to lose a percentage that will rate it bad, even though it might be a good American style brown. So, very nice scent. I can go ahead and tell you right now, the beer is excellent, and I haven't even taken a sip of it. So that's a good sign for another great new Orlando area brewery. We've got tons of breweries. As a matter of fact, I was out of town over the weekend, did a little camping over towards the coast. We hit Playa Linda Brewing Company. We hit the Dirty Ore Brewing Company. We hit Bug Nutty Brewing and Florida Brewing. But Florida Brewing is no longer Florida Brewing anymore. They've changed their name to Carib. Carib. So one of the beers that they, were producing for, down the islands, that's now the name of the brewery. So it's no longer Florida Brewing, and I learned something new because I went there. I guess it's happened real recently. So if you're over there and you think you're lost because you pull up to Florida Brewing and it says Carib everywhere, nope, you're in the right place. But anyway, back to the beer. Let's taste it. That beer is excellent. An excellent brown ale. Like I figured, or like I assumed, based on the score, you're getting that nice brown malty ale without getting like punched in the mouth with the hops. So it's a nice, smooth, and when it says the 40 IBUs, it doesn't even taste like it has 40 IBUs in this. It tastes much less in hops than that. And I think that's why it's so drinkable. And when I say drinkable, it's very drinkable. I mean, you might know what most brown ales you're not going to want to sit around by the poolside and pound. I kind of reserve my my brown ales more for like nighttime or fall, spring, winter. Those are the times when I think of a brown ale. Now I can drink a brown ale at any time, don't get me wrong, but out by the poolside I'm always looking for something light and refreshing. And this is actually light and refreshing for a brown ale, but still I don't think I would take it poolside. That's a beautiful beer. I'm so excited to have another great brewery around. And you can always tell when you sample their first beer what it's going to be like. Hopefully all their beers, they keep it true to, flavor and taste. But they did this great because it really, to me, it's almost like a blend of an American brown and more of an English brown. Just because it's not the true hoppy that you get in a lot of, sometimes with American beers, and that's why a lot of times they label them, when they're rating them on American brown or American stout or American this. It's because the US, let's be honest, they've gone hop crazy. And every beer they try to see how hoppy they can make it, and they didn't do that with this beer, which makes me happy because I'm more of a fan of an English brown or something in between, kind of like this is, that gives you the great brown malty flavor without the super hopped up charge in there. Just an excellent beer. Now, I got off task there talking about all the breweries we hit over the weekend, but this isn't a Popka. Everybody who's been there that I've talked to loves it. I got to make it over there very soon, but I couldn't wait to try this beer out. So I'm glad that I did. And this brewery, these guys, it's called Three Odd Guys Brewing. But the thing about it is, I think there's 4 odd guys, or at least one of them might not be odd. Who knows? But there are actually 4 owners. And they started off kind of like a family friends kind of thing where they brewed beer in the garage and had parties and everybody loved their beer. So they were probably the most popular kids on the block having all these parties with all this great beer. So eventually they decided to do something about it. Kind of like I started Beer Issues. They decided to start a brewery, which who knows? Maybe one day there will be a Beer Issues brewery out there. You never know. But make sure you check out this place, because if this is any sign of the beer that they're producing over there, we're in for a treat. Lots of more treats from them. If you've enjoyed this, make sure you tell your friends about Beer Issues and how much fun we're having talking about great beer and drinking great beer. And make sure if you want any cool Beer Issues gear like hats, t-shirts, phone cases, anything cool like that, go to shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.